Hey everybody, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back. So as promised, and I had a lot of you ask, which is awesome, how I organize my digital files. So for years, I had digital files that I was never using because I didn't really have a way of viewing them. But I have a system now and I've been using it for several years and it is gold, and it helps me not only to see what I have, but I can easily search through everything and narrow it down and find exactly what it is that I'm looking for. So this is actually something I learned from Shannon Pages. She shared this years ago and I caught on with it primarily because I'm a Lightroom user, and I am going to be in Lightroom today, but I just want you to know that I am certain you can do these in other programs. I just don't use them, so I'm not 100% sure which direction to steer you, but you're going to want to look for something that organizes your photo. Like for instance, on the Mac, on Photos, it's likely that you could do something there. What you're going to look for is you're going to want to have a system that allows you to actually see the file or see a photo of the file, and then a way to search all of those files. So I'm not 100% sure what you can use, but I'm sure that there are other things out there. So just hopefully, if you don't have Lightroom, this will just get your mind thinking about what is the program that I use and can I use it for doing my digitals. So Lightroom is actually for photos. It's not really for file management, but when I saw Shannon Pages do this, I was like, this is absolutely brilliant. So the one thing I wanted to share about Lightroom is Lightroom, you don't technically import things into Lightroom. Rather, you are mirroring the folders on your hard drive or on your computer. So over here to the left, I have a hard drive here that's got all of my digital files, and that is what I have brought into Lightroom. So it is mirroring those folders that I have on that hard drive. And I've got this big folder that says digitals, and I've got all of my digitals together. So these are the main companies that I have purchased from. Most of them are scrapbooking. In fact, I think all of them are either scrapbooking or card making. But you can see under here, I've got Ali Edwards, and I have a whole bunch of different files from Ali Edwards, from day in the life files to December daily, just right, one little word, some of her overlays. I've got travel, story kit, you name it. If she's brought it out in digital and I have purchased it or have received it because I have been on her design team, then I have that file. So I just want to show you how I'm going to be using this for December daily. And I'm specifically doing this right now because I am looking for a file for a currently page. So I am actually on Ali Edwards right now, and I'm going to search for search. So this is actually how I do it. Now, if I wanted to, I could do it for all of the digitals that I have, but I kind of have an idea of the file I'm looking for, but I don't exactly remember where it's at. It could be in one of her story kits. It could be in one of her stories by the month kits. I just can't remember exactly where the file is, so I'm going to search for it. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the folder that I want to go to. So I'm going to click on Ali Edwards because I'm not entirely sure that it's a December daily file, but I'm pretty sure it's from Ali Edwards. And then I'm going to come up here to text. Let me just bring that up. Okay, I'm going to come up to text, click on it, and then I'm going to make sure the text is on any searchable field and contains all. And I'm going to type in currently, because I'm going to be doing a currently page for my December daily. I kind of have this idea of what I want it to look like. And I want to use the word currently, so I want to cut out the word currently. And I think this was actually the one I was looking for. But as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different ones I can use. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger just so we can see some of these files together a little bit easier. So I could actually, take the word currently from any of these files. It doesn't just have to be like a big, bold, black and white. But I was thinking something cursive, not something print. Because if I wanted to do something print like this, I could probably just create it in Photoshop if I wanted to, but sometimes it is just easier to look for the file, and sometimes you don't actually have the font, so it's good to do that as well. I actually liked this one, but it's cutting off the L, and I don't want that to happen. So I think, and I actually like this one too, because I like the loop. I like the loop there in the L. Of course, that one's cute. So I think this is the file that I was thinking of. And they're all pretty similar. So it doesn't really matter, honestly. So I'm actually going to click on, and because I think I'm going to be cutting it out, I definitely do want it to be just a little bit thicker. So I'm going to be picky here, and I think I'm going to do, gosh, those R's are going to be really thin if I try and cut those out. So maybe I will do this one. So this is one of my favorite parts about looking for a digital file, okay? Because I found this file that I want, and I'm like, okay, it says Ali Edwards _ currently celebrating _ digital file. Doesn't tell me what kit it's from. It doesn't tell me what time of year it was or what date or anything like that. It just tells me the name of the file. So my most favorite part about what I'm showing you is when you find a file that you want, you're going to right click right on the image. If we are in Lightroom, going to right click, and then you're going to come to Show in Finder. If you're using a Windows machine, because I'm using Mac, if you're using Windows, it'll probably say Show in Explore or something like that. I don't know what Windows calls basically their Finder, but they used to call it Explorer. So if that's what they call it, that's probably what it will say here. I'm going to click on this Show in Finder, and what you're going to see is it's going to pop up a window that's going to show me exactly where this file is. So we've got, the file is in Ali Edwards stamp set, and if we go one more back, it's in Celebrate Digital Kit. And so that's where I'm going to be able to find it, is in the Celebrate Digital Kit. So I'm going to come back all the way to the end here. If I can do that. Looks like they need to do it up here. And here's the stamp set. And here's the currently. And then I can just open with Photoshop or Illustrator. I probably should have just done Illustrator, not Photoshop, because I would want to work with this in Illustrator. Or I can actually just open this. I don't think I could open it directly in... I don't think I could open it directly in the silhouette, but that's likely what I would do because I'm going to cut it out. So I'm waiting for my Photoshop to open. Let's try that one more time. I had a little thing that popped up. Oh, it's saying it can't open it up. And the reason why it can't is because it's got this little cloud. So what I need to do is open it. I need to double click on it and open it so that it will re-download on my machine. So it's actually not downloaded on my machine. And now see how I've got the green check? It's the little things, you guys. See, I'm not able to open it up in Silhouette, but we'll just open it up in Photoshop just to make it easy. All right, so it went ahead and it opened it in Photoshop. So since it's in Photoshop, I am gonna wanna take the celebrating off. So I would probably just start erasing it, or I could use the marquee here and erase as much as I can without, you know, affecting this right here. And then I probably would do Control+ to get up there. I'm going to get rid of this box here. I guess I should have told you what I did. So I grabbed the marquee tool. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. I'm clicking and dragging over what I want to delete. And then I just hit delete and it deletes it. And then I'm going to Command D to get rid of that box. But I'm going to come over here and get the eraser tool. And I'm just going to start erasing and make it a little bit smaller by clicking on the left bracket. And I can finesse this once we take this file into, once I take this file either into Illustrator, I could have done this in Illustrator, or into the Silhouette, I can make this a little bit cleaner once it scans it. So I'm going to save this because I want to take it into the Silhouette. So I'm going to save it as, and we're going to save it to the computer. And because it's in Allie's thing, I'm actually just going to change it to currently. So instead of currently celebrating, it's just going to be currently. I'm going to save it in the same place because this is Allie's art. Just renaming it. And now I've got my file and I can take this over to the Silhouette. And since I'm here, I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do here. So I'm opening up my Silhouette. Just take a minute for that to happen. And I've got my finder that is still open, and it's open to exactly where I want it to be. And this is the currently stamp that we did. And I'm just going to drag it into this file. And then I'm just going to move this over to my other monitor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at here. I want to see what this looks like. So I'm going to do Command plus to get closer. And I don't like that it's not very smooth. So I'm going to come up here to where we've got the dots. I'm going to click on it and you can see these, they're actually, all right guys, so I actually had to just look that up because I forgot what these are called, but these are called points. So I'm going to get a little bit closer so we can see this Command plus. Oh, it's not letting me get any closer. I honestly am having a hard time seeing that. So what an easy thing that I could do is when these are highlighted, I could just come up here and I could click on the S and it's just going to smooth everything out. And you can kind of see how that just smoothed that out right there like so. And it actually smoothed out the entire file. And I actually think that looks really good. And because I'm trying to see how big this is just a little bit smaller than what I would need. You can see it, I need 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's a little bit taller and a little bit smaller, which is fine because it will work for my needs. I could change the size of the paper if I wanted by coming up to the paper and coming down here and changing it to 4.25. But at any rate, it doesn't really matter because I can just eyeball this because it's not going to be that important. And you're not going to see any of this white because obviously I'm just going to be cutting this out. This is not something I'm going to be printing. So I'm going to click on this arrow now and I'm going to click on this arrow here in the corner and I'm just going to drag it down to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to put it down here to see how big I want it to be and how I'm feeling about it. And I think that looks pretty good. I don't think that that looks too big. So my idea is that I'm going to have some stitching down here with that stitch border. Like I said, it's an idea. It totally may change. I may not even use this, but this is what I'm thinking right now. So I'm going to do multiple of these. So I'm going to click Option as I drag, and I'm going to get another one. And then I'm going to do one more and get one more out of it. So I will stack them on top like I normally do to make it a little bit thicker. And I really like it. And I think this is going to cut out pretty cleanly just because it's pretty thick. I mean, it's not thin like some of the other ones. So I actually really like this. So I will just go ahead and cut this out and continue to work on my page. But the reason why we are here is because I wanted to show you the power of organizing your digital files. So if you wanted to get started with something like this, the first thing that I would tell you to do is create a digital folder on your hard drive, wherever that is, if it's external, if it's on your hard drive. I actually have mine on my Dropbox. So technically it's on my computer, but it's all in Dropbox. So it's not sitting on my computer and taking up a bunch of space. But you can choose to do it however you want. But the more digital files you have, obviously, you know, the more space that's going to take on your hard drive. So get that set up, have a digital file, and then I like to do it by manufacturer. I've got Ali Edwards, American Crafts, Crate Paper, Creative Market, CZ Design, okay? Any of the digital files you have, and you can then begin to organize them the way that you want. As you saw, I really am very specific about how I organize. But if you end up doing what I've done, where you could just search for anything, you don't necessarily have to have it all organized like this. But I like to have it organized like this because it seems very clean in my head and in my mind to have it this way. So I much prefer to do it this way. So the first step is going to be to create that file and to begin to organize everything. And then you would bring it into your Lightroom and import it into your Lightroom so your Lightroom can see that folder, and then you can start seeing everything. So let's just do one more thing, and let's do it with just in our December daily. I'm going to come up here to text, and I'm trying to think of what is something else that perhaps I could be looking for. So look, you can kind of see just in December daily, these are the current leads that are available in December daily. So let's say I wanted to do a page about joy, because I did just kind of do a page about joy. So I'm going to click on joy, or write joy, click enter, and you're going to see all these files that include joy. And it's got all the files from all the December daily that I have. And like I said, maybe you're like, well, you know what? I'm not sure 100% that it's from December daily. I think it could be from Paisley Press. So I'm going to click on Paisley Press because she has a bunch of December products. So I'm going to click on her thing on Paisley Press, on her folder, come up to text, and it's going to bring up that joy. And now it's going to show all the files that I have that are just from her. But let's say I don't really know where the joy file is I'm looking for, or I want to make sure that I see all of my joy files. I'm going to just click on digital. I'm just going to go really broad, come back up here to text. And now I've basically got every digital file that I own that is associated with the word joy. Some of them will have the word joy in them. Some of them might be like the joy story kit, but it doesn't have the word necessarily joy in it. So it can be really broad, but you can switch that up with, you know, contains all to contains like the exact word joy. So it can be really powerful to search for these things. But I really just love, okay, other than this, other than being able to, you know, look for the word joy and be like, oh, you know what, like this would be really cute to have this, and to do like my number on the inside. This could be on top of a photo. Like I really like this. The other thing that I think is really cool about these digital files, especially with Ali Edwards, because I have a lot of her physical products, is it helps me remember the physical products that I have. So if I just click on December daily here, and it's going to bring up all these December daily files, and I could just search through December daily. And I'm going to bring this out just a little bit. And as I'm searching through, and these are, I think those were white numbers, which is why they weren't showing up. But I'm just going to search through, and I can come to like where this says moments. I'm like, oh yeah, these were those circle, like those plastic circle embellishments. I think I still have some of those. That would be really fun to use on a page. So a lot of times what I will end up doing is, if I'm not 100% sure what I want to do, sometimes, and I have an idea of maybe what I want to do, like the gist, like I said, I want to do something about joy, but I'm not 100% sure on the design. Sometimes I will just come in here and start looking through the product, because it's easier to do than on my desk, because sometimes they're not all organized on my desk, or, you know, the physical products aren't all organized. So I can come through and I can look and be like, oh yeah, these triangles, these were also those really thin plastic kind of see-through. That would be really cool. Or what about this morning, afternoon, evening? I'm not sure this is December daily, but it's showing up in December daily. And this would actually be a really good idea. And maybe I don't actually want to use this file because I'm like, oh, I don't know that whoops, let me go back to that. I'm like, I don't know that I necessarily want to use these boxes, but I love the idea of doing a morning, an afternoon, and an evening on one of the days. So I'm like, okay, today is December 15th. Maybe for December 15th, I will do a morning and I will do an afternoon and I will do an evening. And you know what? I actually really love that idea because I was able to spend time with some friends in the morning. This afternoon, I'm working on some things. And then this evening, Adam and I are actually going to be going to dinner for our anniversary. Even though our anniversary isn't for a couple of days, we're doing it because we're going to go to my daughter's work. She works at a fancy restaurant. So we're going to go do it while she's working. So anyway, we're going early for her. But at any rate, this is actually a really good idea that I'm now just coming up with while we're working on this video. And I love this, but I'm like, okay, maybe I will find something that I can cut out like I was just showing, or something that I can foil onto my paper. So my next step will be probably that I will highlight this and I will do a 6. And what I've been doing this year, you can see down here at the corner, and I'm gonna go back to the grid view, which would be my library, which I'm on library, but let's just hit G and it's going to go back to the grid view. So it's over here, and you can see if I get a little bit bigger that I've got red around it, and that's because I hit 6, and 6 is going to label it as red. And I actually have this set up, and this is another really cool thing about Lightroom that I love so much, is I have set up a smart collection down here where it says in 2002 I've got December daily, and if I click on that, it's showing photos that I potentially want to use in my December daily. Okay, so these are just potentials. I may not want to. Like, this was when I was organizing my studio and it was a really big mess. I don't know that I'm actually going to put this in my December daily, but I have it in here just in case. And this photo of my house, I actually redid it when there was more snow. So I actually just ended up taking that today because we've had snow the last 3 days. So anyway, you can see that I don't know that it came in, and I'm not 100% sure why. I was showing you that it's going to show up, and I'm not 100% sure why. I'm going to click on this just to double check. So I have it captured between this November date and then the end of December. And then the label is red, which is exactly why this should have shown up. So I'm going to figure that out. I think, you know what I think why? It's because I didn't take it between those date parameters. So that's why it didn't show up. So, all right, I messed up there. So I lost the file that I was working on, but that's okay because I don't actually necessarily want the file. But the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the word morning, afternoon, and evening. So I'm actually going to come up to my digital files because I don't know what I'm going to find or what company would have something that said morning. So here I've got a whole bunch of stuff that say morning, and I'm just looking for, like, I really like that. And I'm going to pull this out just a little bit because it's a little bit easier for me to look at. I like this morning. I've used that morning before. Okay, so let's just make this easy and be like, okay, I like this. So I'm actually going to tag this by clicking on this dot right here, and I'll show you where that goes to. It's going to go to a target collection, and I will show you that in just a second. But I actually really like the way how this looks this morning. Like, I think that that's a really cute font. But let's move on. Let's go to afternoon. Because I'm actually really excited about this. Oh, I've got a whole card right here that says morning, afternoon, and evening. So I'm getting some ideas about, you know, maybe I would want to do something like this. Oh, look, I've got a full card that has morning, afternoon, and evening. So I could totally just use that. And I do kind of like the idea of foiling onto it, but I also like the idea of it being sort of 3D. So I kind of like this. I'm going to right click, show in Finder. And here it is. And then I'm just going to, well, first I need to make sure that it's on my computer, right? So I'm going to double click so that it downloads onto my computer again. You can see this is an actual tag, and I wonder where it came from. It came from Day in the Life. So one of her Day in the Lives. And I'm going to open this up in, I'm just going to open it up with Photoshop. I probably don't even need to open it up. I just need to, in fact, I don't need to open it up. I do need to open it up because I want to see how big that I need it to be. So I'm going to open it up in Photoshop because this is likely where I will do my journaling. And then I will create a new file. Don't you love that we're like doing all this stuff together? I'm going to create a new file. So this is the size of my album, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to isolate each of these words. So I'm going to come up here to where I've got the magic wand, click on that, and then I'm going to click on morning. And then I'm also going to shift click. Like, what is it? So shift click on the dot there. And then I'm going to right click, layer via copy, and I'm just going to copy. It is picking up on something else. Oh, it's picking up on all of this stuff because I'm on layer 2. So make sure you go back to layer 1. I'm not paying attention here. So I'm going to click on this and it looks like it grabbed everything. So right click again, go down to layer via copy, and then make sure you go back to layer 1, do it one more time. And I don't have the eye, so I'm going to shift click and then right click, layer via, oh, I did via cut, which is fine. It's just that now this is cut out, but it's totally fine. It's not a big deal. So now I'm going to take all 3 of these layers. I'm going to highlight them. So I'm going to click, shift click on all 3 of these layers, and I'm just going to drag it up into my untitled page. And now you can see I've got all of the words that we need. So these are looking a little bit too big, and I'm seeing how these are ending, and I might want to change that. That will be something I do probably a little bit later. I'm going to click on layer 3, and I'm using my arrow to bring it down because I can't see it and I don't know where it is. So hopefully it's coming down, because I don't know how. I've done this before. So what I might do actually is just come over here to morning. Make sure this is morning. Come over here to morning, and I'm going to bring it back in and just make sure it's like actually in there. And then I can delete this layer 3 there. But I am telling you that this is going to bother me right here. So I might have to, like I did before, individually find the words. But how awesome is that? So then the next thing that I will do is probably take all of them together so that they will be, similar sizes. Command T. So like I did over here, I need to maybe slow down. Click and then shift click, right? So I've got all of them selected. Command T. Now you can see I've got a box around it. I'm going to make these a little bit smaller. And I kind of like how that looks there. And then they want them to move individually. So we'll bring morning up here. And I'm like trying to decide, do I like them centered? I'll probably center them. And if I wanted to, I could click down and select all of them. And then I could come over here and I could center them. You can see that that afternoon moved slightly. So that's nice. And I'm going to actually uncheck the background, and I'm going to select all of them because I want to make sure they're centered on the background. And actually, I did a really great job of making sure they were centered on the background. So I might bring this one up a little bit. And then maybe bring that one up a little bit. And if I moved things around, I can just go ahead and do that same thing again. You can see that they kind of shifted a little bit. So you guys, and then I would write in my journaling. So the one thing that I definitely wouldn't do is I wouldn't print it out because I don't want it to be orange, red, and black, right? So I'm either going to foil this down. I'm actually really excited about this. I'm either going to foil these words on, or I'm going to cut it out. I'm not 100% sure, because I do know that I could fix this right here really easy. This would be a little bit harder because I mean, I could do it, but like, do I want to take the time? I'm sure they have these, she's got this file somewhere else. I'd be able to easily find an evening that doesn't look like that. And I know I could find a morning. So I'll probably just do that. But I just want to show you that the next step I would do is I would save this. Well, I'd write in my journaling, and I'd probably say morning, and then I would put a timestamp. And I could actually just use the roll timestamp, but I could, you know, add the time and then write in my journaling, you know, just do a box under here. It says, this morning, you know, whatever. And then do the same thing for the afternoon and do the same thing for the evening. And then I would print this out, but then I would send this file over to Silhouette so that I could cut out the morning, afternoon, and evening. I have to think about that, how I want to add that on. I'm very excited about this. I think because I want it to be 3D, I will likely cut it out, but I'm thinking that this might be a little bit of a problem, so I might have to get rid of those when I'm going to cut it out. So I'm very excited about this, you guys. So there you go. This is how I literally do it in real time. You saw me just looking through my files here. It looks like I'm having a problem with my Lightroom. So I'm not going to be able to like work through my Lightroom right now because it's going to shut it down. But I just want you to understand that you just witnessed me do this live, where I was just looking through the files and I'm like, oh my gosh, this would actually be a really good idea for one of the days in December daily. And it almost would be like, it's almost like a currently page, you know, but it's like, this is what I did today. I love simple pages like this. And if I wanted to, I could do it on a tag, and I could have the photo like off to the left as a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I could do what I did just like this, morning, afternoon, and evening, and it could even go off the edge, and that could be on a tag. I could easily do that, or I could do it on a different size, you know. There's so many things. You could do it in a circle, you could do it in a star, like whatever, right? But it's the beginning of the idea, and it's all because I was just looking through my digital files. So I'm super excited that happened in real time. So hopefully I actually will do that, because I'm kind of excited. And today's actually a really good day, but I'm wondering tomorrow might be a good day for that as well. So anyway, that is it, you guys. So hopefully you enjoy this tutorial. I know I didn't go into the ins and outs of Lightroom because that's not what this is about. I just wanted to show you the power of having all of your digital files together and having them in a program like Lightroom that you are able to view the file so you know exactly what you have, search for the idea. So coming up here and just putting in any word, searching for the word, the mood, the style. You could put in circle, you could put in star, whatever it is, and then actually finding the file, and then finding that file on the hard drive so you can open it directly into Photoshop or into another program that you have. It is really powerful when it comes to actually using your digital files. And I do love that idea of getting ideas. So hopefully this was useful for you guys. If you would like to see more Lightroom tutorials, please let me know, because I feel at heart that I'm definitely a technical girl. I love Photoshop. I love Lightroom. I love Illustrator. So I'm always wanting to share more of that stuff with you guys, but I know that those are some of the lower viewed items. So if you would like to see more how I'm using that software, please let me know. And you guys, that's going to be it for me, but we will see you in the next one. Bye.